Speak your mind, but ride a fast horse. Hello everyone, my name's Elspeth. Welcome to the Planeswalker Pantheon, and today we are opening up a collector's box of the latest Magic the Gathering set, Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Let's ride off from the sunset, shall we? Now, nothing serialized, I believe, in this set, but we do have that big score sheet, and there's some cool things in that. I already scored my loot, so let's see what else is in the vault, shall we? Alright, we've got our packs, and I'll put them to the side, because you don't need to see them, you know they're there. First up. Alright, got our treasure. We have an extended art ornery Tumblewag, 2 and a green for a creature Brushwag mount. 2/2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. When it attacks while saddled, double the number of +1/+1 counters on target creature, and you saddle it for 2. Ooh, we have Pariah from the Prosperity Post sheet. 2 and a white for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature. All damage that will be dealt to you is dealt to enchanted creature instead. Forge's Foundry from the Commander set. 2 and a blue for an artifact. Tap to add blue. When you spend this mana to cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value 3 or less, you may exile that spell instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard as it resolves. 3 and 2 blue. You may cast any number of spells from among cards exiled with Forge's Foundry that paying their mana cost. Activate only as a sorcery. Dust Animus. 1 and a white for a creature spirit. It's a 2/3 flying. If you control 5 or more untapped lands, it enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it and a lifelink counter, and you can put it for 1 and a white. Ooh, foil Archangel of Tithes. 1 and triple white for a creature angel. It's a 3/5 with flying. As long as it's untapped, creatures you can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless their controller plays 1 for each. As long as it's attacking, creatures can't block unless their controller plays 1 for each of those creatures. Ooh, foil Murder. Some Savage Smash. Ooh, Pretty Island. Pretty Island. Homestead. The Roadrunner. Actually, you know what the other thing is? It just falls on commons and uncommons. And we'll do it like that. Next one up. Mercenary. Oh, we've got a foil Abrupt Decay. Green and black for an instant, can't be countered. Destroy target non-land permanent with mana value 3 or less. Archive Trap. Nice to see this get a reprint. 3 and 2 blue for an instant trap. If an opponent searches their library this turn, you may play blue rather than play that spell's mana cost. Target opponent mills 13 cards. Elemental Eruption. 4 and 2 red for a sorcery. Create a 4/4 red dragon elemental creature token with flying and prowess. And it has Storm. Ooh, we've got the Fomori Vault in the alt art. It's a land that taps for colorless. 3 and tap, discard a card. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of artifacts you control. Put one of those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Speaking of, we have the Key to the Vault. 1 and a blue for a legendary artifact equipment. When an equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, look at that many cards from the top of your library. You may exile a non-land card from among them. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost, and you equip it for 2 and a blue. Ride Down, Denial, Pretty Forest, and we will flick through the rest of these. Next one up. Token. We have extended art foil Annie Joins Up. 1 red, green, and white for a legendary enchantment. When it's the battlefield, it deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. And if a triggered ability of a legendary creature you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. So legendary ability, triggered ability, Panharmonicon. So they did reprint the original Oko in a format where you could potentially draft this. I played original Eldraine. This was a nightmare. I countered it with the blue counter spell. I shouldn't have been playing it in my draft deck, but here we are. 1 green and blue for a legendary planeswalker Oko. +2 to create a food token. +1 to have an artifact or creature lose all abilities and become a green elk creature token with base power and toughness 3/3. -5, exchange control of target artifact or creature you control and target creature an opponent controls with power 3 or less. Oh, and he starts with 4 loyalty. Discreet Retreat, 3 and a black for an enchantment aura, enchant land. The enchanted land has tap to add 2 mana of any one colour. Spend this mana to only cast outlaw spells or activate abilities from outlaw sources. Whenever you cast your first outlaw spell each turn, you draw a card and you lose a life. Slick Shot Show Off, 1 and a red for a creature, Bird Wizard. 1/2 with flying and haste. Hey, it's a flying, oh, it's not quite. When you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn and can plot it for 1 and a red. Foil Colossal Rattleworm, 2 and 2 green for a creature worm, it's a 6/5. Has flash as long as you control a desert, and trample, and for 1 and a green, exile the Rattleworm from your graveyard, search your library for a desert card, put it into the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. Foil Savage Smash, and a Repulse, and a Pretty Swamp. And we'll flick through these. I'm happy we got the Oko in his most evil form, I think. I did not know they had Oko in the set. Thankfully it's on the bonus sheet. Treasure. 1 last job, 2 and a white for a sorcerer with Spree. If you pay extra 2, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. For an extra 1, you return target mount or vehicle from your graveyard to the battlefield, or for an extra 1, return target or equipment card from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to a creature you control. Ooh, Surgical Extraction. So for a single black Phyrexian, choose target card in a graveyard other than a basic land, search its owner's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards of the same name as that card and exile them, then that player shuffles. Dead Horse Delivers Beating. Leyline Dowser, 2 mana for an artifact, 1 tap mill a card. You may put an instant or sorcery card milled this way into your hand. Tap an untapped legendary creature you control to untap the Leyline Dowser. Ooh, we got Vraska the Silencer in the Wanted Poster treatment, which is real cool. So, legendary creature, Gorgon Assassin, Death Touch. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, you may pay 1. If you do, return that card to the battlefield tapped under your control. It's a treasure artifact with tap, sacrifice this artifact, and add 1 mana of any colour, and it loses all other card types. Ooh, we have a foiled Torpor Orb from the Big Hit, or the Big Vault. 2 mana for an artifact. Creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. I hated seeing this in Modern when I was playing Soul Sisters. Foil Skewer the Critics. Fierce Retribution, Pretty Island. And our normal foil commons and uncommons. Next one up. More treasure. Ooh, foil Indomitable Creativity in the Prosperity Post art frame. X and triple red for a sorcery. Destroy X target artifacts and or creatures. For each permanent destroyed this way, its control reveals cards from the top of their library until an artifact or creature is revealed and exiles that card. Those players put the exiled cards into the battlefield and then shuffle. Outlaws Merriment, 1 and red and 2 white for an enchantment. The beginning of your upkeep, choose 1 at random. Create a red and white creature token with those characteristics. Either a 3/1 human warrior with trample and haste, a 2/1 human cleric with lifelink and haste, or a 1/2 human rogue with haste, and when this creature enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to any target. Savvy Trader, 3 and a green for a creature human wizard, it's a 3/3. When enters the battlefield, exile target permanent card from your graveyard. You may play that card for as long as it remains exiled. Spells are cast from anywhere other than your hand cost 1 less to cast. We've got an extended art, Torpor Orb. Nice. Foil Seraphic Steed. So for green and a white, it's a creature unicorn mount. It's a 2/2 with first strike and lifelink. And when it attacks while saddled, create a 3/3 white angel creature token with flying, and you saddle it for 4. Foil Buried in the Garden. Good on Murder. Foil Mountain, and the rest. Alright. Halfway down. More mercenaries for the job. Extended art foil Railway Brawler. 3 and 2 green for a creature, Rhino Warrior. It's a 5/5 with reach and trample. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is its power, and you pot it for 3 and a green. Ooh, we got a Dust Bowl. It's a land, tapped, add colorless. Or 3 and tap, sacrifice a land, destroy target non-basic. It's a Thieving Varmint. 1 and a black for a creature varmint. It's a 2/1 death touch and lifelink. Tap to pay 1 life, add 2 mana of any one color. Spend this mana to only cast spells you don't own. Ooh, we have Inspiring Vantage in the Railway artwork. It's the red-white fast land. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands. Archmage's Newt, 1 and a blue for a creature, Salamander Mount. When it deals combat damage to a player, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost, or it gains flashback 0 if you saddled it. And you settled for 3, and it's a 2/2. Foil back to more, Buried in the Garden, pretty foil planes. Our uncommons and our commons. I can't wait to draft this set, by the way. Next one up. The Mercenary. Oh, we have Commandeer. 5 and 2 blue for an instant. You may exile 2 blue cards from your hand rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Gain control of target non-creature spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Oh, and it's foil too. That's real nice. I just noticed that right now. Because that foil, at least on this artwork, is really subtle. Ooh, Leyline Binding. Nice. 5 and a white for an enchantment with flash. It has Domain. It costs 1 less to cast for each basic land type among lands you control. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land opponent controls until Leyline Binding leaves the battlefield. Orochi Soul Reaver. 5 and a black for a creature, Snake Ninja Rogue. It's a 5/4 with ninjutsu, 3 and a black. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token and manifest the top card of that player's library. Ooh, we have a Becca, Splitter of Seconds. 1 blue, black, and red for a legendary creature or Ogre Warlock. 2/5 with Menace, and when it deals combat damage to a player, you may get an additional upkeep step after this phase. Greed's Gambit from the Vault. 3 and a black for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you draw 3 cards, gain 6 life, and create 3 2/1 black creature tokens with flying. At the beginning of your end step, you discard a card, lose 2 life, and sacrifice a creature. When it leaves the battlefield, you discard 3 cards, lose 6 life, and sacrifice 3 creatures. Woof. Foil Decisive Denial and Journey to Nowhere, pretty swamp, and we will flick through the rest. Whew. I've not seen Greed's Gambit yet. Holy wow. Next one up. Merc. Ooh, Lotus Ring in the expanded art. 3 mana for an artifact equipment. It's indestructible. Equipped creature gets +3/+3 and has vigilance and tap. Sacrifice this creature. Add 3 mana of any one color and equip for 3. From the Vault 2. Decimate. 2 red and green for a sorcery. Destroy target artifact, creature, enchantment, and land. You can't cast a spell unless you have legal choices for all targets. Eris, Roar of the Storm, 8 blue and red for a legendary creature, Elemental Warlock. It costs 2 less to cast for each different mana value among instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard. It's a 4/4 with flying and prowess, and when you cast your second spell each turn, you create a 4/4 red dragon elemental creature token with flying and prowess. Woof. Vraska joins up. Black and a green for a legendary enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, put a death touch counter on each creature you control. Sure. Whenever a legendary creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Kellen also apparently joins up. For green, white, and blue, you get a legendary enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile a non-land card with mana value 3 or less from your hand. If you do, it becomes plotted. Whenever a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Fierce Retribution, Fling, Plains, and we will flick through the rest. Alright. More mercenaries. Ooh, we got our special guest, and it's in foil too, of Scapeshift. 2 green for a sorcery. Sacrifice any number of lands, search your library for up to that many land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. Path to Exile, single white for an instant. Exile target creature. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put a card onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. Angel of Indemnity, 5 mana, 5 and a white for a creature Angel Warrior. It's a 5/5 with flying and lifelink. When enters the battlefield, return target permanent card with mana value 4 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield, and has Encore for 6 and 2 white. Spy Buff Canal in the train artwork too. It's the blue-red Fastland. One last job, we read this earlier. Tornado, and Essence Capture. Pretty forest. Alright. Well, let's mosey on down for the next pack. Mix it up. Stoic Sphinx in the extended art and foil. 2 and 2 blue for a creature Sphinx. It's a 5/3 flash and flying. It has hexproof as long as you haven't cast a spell this turn. Electro Dominance, X and 2 red for an instant. It deals X damage to any target. You may cast a spell with mana value X or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. Cataclysmic Prospecting, X and 2 red for a sorcery. Deals X damage to each creature. For each mana from a desert spent to cast a spell, create a tapped treasure token. Bonnie Paul Clear Cutter, 3 green and 2 blue for a legendary creature Giant Scout. It's a 6/5 with reach. When enters the battlefield, you create Bow, a legendary blue ox creature token with this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of lambs you control. Whenever you attack, draw a card, and then you may put a land card from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield. Who doesn't love growth spiral on a creature? Annie Flash, the Veteran, is a foil mythic. 3 red, green, and white for a legendary creature, human rogue, 4/5 flash. I mean, of course, she's going to have flash. When she enters the battlefield, if you cast it, return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. And when she becomes tapped, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. Humiliate in foil, Heartless Pillage, Pretty Island. And we will flick through commons and uncommons. Second last pack for this box. Alright, treasure. Talia Joaquin, Perfect Shot. Red and white for a legendary creature human mercenary. I've not seen this card yet. Whenever a sorcerer you control deals non-combat damage to a creature equal to its creature's... Whenever a sorcerer you control deals non-combat damage to a creature equal to that creature's toughness, draw a card. X and tap. If a sorcerer you control would deal non-combat damage to a permanent or player this turn, it deals that much damage plus X instead. Okay. Endless Detour, green, white, and blue for an instant. The owner of target spell, non-land permanent, or card in graveyard puts it on the top or bottom of their library. Pyretic Charge. 4 and a red for a sorcery. Discard your hand, then draw 4 cards. For each discarded this way, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn, and you can plot for 3 and a red. Pitiless Carnage. 3 and a black for a sorcery. Sacrifice any number of permanents you control, then draw that many cards. Plot for 1 and 2 black. Vadmir New Blood. 1 and a black for a legendary creature vampire rogue. Whenever you commit a crime, put a +1/+1 counter on Vadmir. This ability triggers only once each turn, and as long as Vadmir has 4 more +1/+1 counters on it, it has Menace and Lifelink. Hindering Light and Foil, and back for more. Mountain, and we'll flick through the rest. Foil, holy cow. And we've got down to our last pack. Alright, Mercenary. Got Pariah. Oh, and foil this time. Some of these are kind of hard to pass over. We have Abrupt Decay, which we've read as well. Angelic Sellsword. 4 and a white for an Angel Mercenary. 4/4 flying and vigilance. When it or another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 red mercenary creature token with tap to have target creature you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. When it attacks, if its power is 6 or greater, draw a card. Seraph Steed, which we've read before. Dust Animus, we've also read. Got a Foil Fling, and a Skewer, and a Plains, and we will flick through the last of these. Before we go, as a sort of thank you for watching, I did do my pre-release at my local game store. Of course, I can only redeem 1 pre-release code, but for those who couldn't make it to their pre-release, for whatever reason, I would like to offer this. It is a code for MTG Arena to redeem 6 packs from the set on Arena. I'll hold it up here and I'll also read it out loud just in case. 9829 Delta, Bravo 3897, Foxtrot 5 Foxtrot, 96 Delta, Bravo, Charlie Alpha Echo, Charlie Bravo 9 Bravo Alpha. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe. It lets people know that I exist and that I'm making this content mostly for my entertainment, but if you're entertained by this, that's just a bonus. You can follow me on Twitter. Links are down below. You can also find me at the Planeswalker Pantheon on Facebook. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.